Hey guys, this is Stryderprime bringing you a new edition of Tooltime with Stryderprime, and today I am going to review these paints that you see here. I've been collecting them from Hobby Japan for a few years now because I always keep seeing a good price range on this, and even though there's a bunch of these paints, I wanted to know how well they will work for me. So these are called VicHobby paints. It is a company that came out back in 2019. It is based out of Japan. These are water-based acrylic color brands, so they're very easy to use. You could say they're almost starter type paints. They come in these little bottles that are about 12 milliliters each. However, they do make specialized bottle sets, which are close to, let me see, I gotta read. There we go. There are about 16 milliliters each. Now, I already have one bottle missing from here. I must have pulled it out for something, but yeah. Unlike the Mr. Hobby paints that are in, how much liters are in this? Because I always have these bottles. I think these are about 20 or 22. Something like that. They're around that range. You get very little, but they're water-based, and they're supposedly easy to use. There's over 130 colors available from them, and they're very affordable. You can get it for like less than $2, maybe $1.50. And then with the recent sales from Hobby Japan, because that's the only distributor I've seen that they sell them for now, you can get it down to 50 cents depending on the color. Some colors sell out faster than others, while others just sit there and stagnate. Should not be overlooked, for something like this. Now, I wanted to find out more about this paint, so I was looking online and looking for video guides or video reviews. Surprisingly, even though I found only a few, not that many people reviewed these colors or test them out. So, I will do it for you guys. So yeah, these paints are brought to you by me, but I purchased them. These were not given to me by Hobby Japan, who is of course the sole distributor of this. But maybe there's others. And I wanted to find out how well these paints are. Now, the one thing that they talk about is the fact these paints are perfect for both hand brushing and airbrushing. And I know this because I've seen a couple of people online. One gentleman was airbrushing a F4 Phantom, giving it the camouflage colors of maybe brown and green and a little bit of red here and there. While another gentleman was working on a tank, a 1/32 scale tank, or maybe it was a 1/48, either or, and he was hand brushing some of the areas, showing his technique of water-based hand brushing. I don't know how well a paint like this will work when if you're gonna airbrush it. I don't know if it's supposedly you can use water as a thinner and as a thinning product, but we will test out other thinning products as well, whether I'll be using the Mr. Color thinner or the leveling thinner. We'll test out both of these. Now, I have two models that I'm going to build, and we're going to test out. One will be hand painted, while the other will be airbrushed, and then we'll see the overall results. I think I have another kit. I have a lot of other kits that I've collected and built, and it was just sitting there for a long time, and I go, you know what, it's good to keep it there and use it as a test bed for paints like this. And then we'll make a decision, and then I'll give you my overall decision on whether or not you should get paints like this. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Paints like these will work, but how will it work? What techniques you will need to use? Let's explore this type of paint. I know it's a bit old. Not many, but many people have seen this. It's been over, what, 4 years now this company has come out. But I want to try to do a proper review for you guys to see if you are interested in getting this when Hobbyland Japan. You know, if you want to go to Hobbyland Japan, get a couple of bottles and use it for your builds as well. Let's begin. Okay, so we're going to test a few colors here. Start with this Vietnam dark green, and using a little bit of water. I'm going to just get a little bit of the paint. I'm going to paint it right over it as one color over it. See how it is. Alright. That's an interesting green. Didn't realize I have two of these colors, so. Let's see how the Feel Great looks. I'm not going to squeeze in another bottle. I'm going to pull it from here. Plus I have a bunch of brushes here. I'm going to try to do this without wetting the paint. See how it looks. Okay, I should mix this. There is an agitator in there. I guess a little, maybe a small ball. I'll have to do the dark green later on. Doesn't feel like it came out right. Let's try this black, see how it looks. Now, supposedly, as it says, it can be airbrushed. I don't know how much of thinner is required for this. And this does not look black. More like a dark grayish tone. This is more like a flat black. That's gray, that's black, and that's that. It does show black hair on this. Okay. Alright, let's try this. Let's go a little higher up on the spectrum here. We'll do, see what this Russian Navy deck red is. For those who probably build a lot of model ships from Russian model ships, their deck has a reddish tone. Oh wow. I kind of like this. This is actually a really nice color for the gunner kit. Let's try the insignia red. This sounds like it's going to be a much more lighter tone color. You know what? I'm sorry. I should have rearranged the camera a bit. So let me put it in a better angle so you guys can see this. Here we go. Yeah, this one's a little bit more lighter tone, different pigmentations. I don't know how well the streaking is. Right now we're doing a piece of paper. We're not doing it on like a... I should have gotten like a maybe a styrene sheet and put it there. But it is very cleanable. You could say I'm using a little tray with some warm water. All right, let's go yellow. Oh, yeah, yellow is strong. We're going to do one more color. One more color. Let's try the flanker ice blue. Oh wow, that's actually really nice. There we go. Now, I think even though this is a good test of these paints, you know, on a piece of paper, the real test has to be on something else. How does it fare when airbrushing it and putting it on something more solid, something a little bit more easier to work with? I was on the fence of not doing it, but I think I'm going to do it. I should have enough plastic spoons to try this, so give me some time while I get the airbrush ready, get the all the paints ready. Obviously, I'm going to have to do a drop per spoon because I don't want to, you know, use up all, what is it, 12 milliliters of this product. And then we're going to see how well it looks. And then once we find how it looks on a spoon, we'll move on to painting the kits. Alright, so I primed these spoons using regular primer, 1200 grit. It's nice and smooth, good. And now we're going to begin painting these colors on each spoon. It'll be a little long process here because I gotta paint and then clean the airbrush, paint the next color, paint the next, you know, and repeat, of course. Just move things around so I have some more accessibility here. Let's do this in an orderly fashion here. We'll begin with the field gray. And we'll zoom in a bit so we can see a bit more. There we go. Now this is acrylic, and I could use either thinner, like regular thinner, or water base. In the past I've tried, even though it says to be used water, I'm kind of like hesitant to using it. I'm going to do this right out of the bottle. I'm going to do a few drops. I'll do, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 drops. Do a 5th drop. Here we go. Do a little mixture. A little spray. Yep, coming out. And I did this low PSI. There's no fumes of any type that I smell. Alright. That is the color German Field Gray. It is wet, but we gotta let it settle and then dry, and then we'll review it. So that's German Field Gray. Next up is going to be the Vietnam Dark Green. Alright, that's done. Next up is going to be NATO Black. Oh, there's one more. Okay, looks good. Okay, next up is going to be the Flanker Ice Blue. Okay, that looks good. Very nice. Okay, this is the Russian Navy's deck red. Ooh, that's not good. See a little splat there just a minute just came out. I might as well start saying this, but this paint is starting to not come out flowing properly on my airbrush. Now I don't know if my airbrush needs cleaning, or maybe this paint is not good for this airbrush. It's supposed to work. It worked a few moments ago with a few paints, but why doesn't this one work? I cannot answer that question. Now, should I thin it? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, because I just noticed something and I wanted to make sure I did it right. Let me just get the remaining part of this paint out of this if I can, and finish up with the next color. because I also was having problems with other colors before this video, before I started each and every one of them. Yeah, this is not coming out. Alright, let me clean it up and then we'll talk about that. Alright, so we're going to test this paint with thinner. I've heard that you can paint it from the bottle, certain paints, and certain paints will flow properly, while others, even though you can, it depends on the airbrush. I know that if the airbrush has a 0.5 nozzle, it's wide enough and big enough to actually for the paint to flow through, while 0.3, which is what I have right now, makes it a lot more difficult. That's why you have to thin it. But can this be thinned? Like I said, it according to Hobbylink Japan and other sites, it can be thinned with water. I'm a little hesitant to use water because the last time I remember using water on paint, whether they say it's acrylic or not, the water separates the paint, kind of similar to that what you see when milk goes bad. We don't want that. Will this do the same thing here? Well, what I'm about to do is I'm going to put about a few drops of water here, paint here. That should be enough. And I have my siphon here ready to go. Sorry, gotta go get it. Here we go. I'm going to try to put equal parts of this and see how it looks. Alright, there should be enough. And now, using this, we're going to mix it up and see what reaction this has. Okay, so it does show that it does convert it into milk. There is a little bit of weird separation here, very light. So we definitely can use thinner on this. Let me apply this on my airbrush and see if it flows again. Give me a minute. Okay, it did flow through. I'm sorry if I didn't show it on camera. I just didn't want to lose whatever time I had. But yep, it looks good, nice and smooth. There's a little bit of the droplets that came out through here, but as you can see, it did flow through, and it's a bit wet. Let me airbrush the yellow. I won't show it on camera, and then I'll display it on this table so we can see how it looks when it dries. Okay, here are all the spoons painted of each color. I added an extra one considering that I was testing out some more paints. But let's look at these step by step. So here is the German Field Gray. It has a it has a weird, not green, but more grayish green. Basically, it's like almost the same uniform color that you would normally see on on German soldiers, and I guess tanks would be great as well. But it is a nice one, pretty good. Then we have the Insignia Red, which I was having trouble with, and that one, it's actually very nice. Came out pretty good. Yeah, that actually was good right there. This is the Russian Navy Red, which of course the airbrush didn't go well, and I should have removed some pigments, but the color's okay. It's almost identical to this red. I don't know if I need to maybe lighten this up using a like white as a base coat. Now the other one, the Vietnam Dark Green. This is the one where it looks really nice. in the light it's kind of difficult. I mean, you could see that it's green in the light. If I turn it off, yeah, it's almost the same. Sometimes it makes it very difficult to see, but it's a good deep green. Deep green. So this is great for camouflages if you want to use this and this for camouflaging or something like that. Now we are here to the black. But this is not pure black. This is not gloss black or flat black. This is referred to as NATO black. And this is actually, it has like a hint of navy blue on it. This can be good for like stealth fighters or like the Blackbird. And it's almost similar to the Titan's Blue 1 by the Mr. Gundam Color line. So this is actually really nice. The Flanker Ice Blue, that actually came out really nice. Oh yeah, that's actually really nice. I like that. Here's the yellow, which I'm a bit disappointed in, just because the airbrush was failing on me a bit. I think I did not do a good job on this. That's okay. We'll revisit it in the next one. And then I did the Flanker Pale Blue, which is really nice. That actually is a pretty nice color. Pretty. This, you could say, can be. Oh God, what kit would utilize this more? I would like to. I don't want to say the Jagan, because the Jagan has a tinge green, but there's the other, the Hardy. That mobile suit, that mobile suit that was used in F91, that would be perfect for this. So, yeah, this is a series of good tests here. Unfortunately, because my airbrush is not acting the way it was and needs a bit of a more. I have to clean it. I haven't used it in a while, so I need to clean the airbrush a little bit more. And I think these paints are pretty much will benefit that of what do you call it? Thinner. Now I used leveling color thinner. I don't have any other thinner other than the non-leveling thinner. And when I showed that demonstration of me putting the thinner in the cup, I was expecting it to separate, but it didn't. I want to try that same test again with water and see if that does the same thing, or will water work? But we're gonna do this as a part one. This is part one. We'll do a part two because I'm gonna be getting a new airbrush, and then I'm gonna be testing out the paint on the new airbrush and try different techniques and paint the other kits that I worked on. So this is part one of the VicHobby paints. Stay tuned for part two, and we'll revisit these paints and see how well it works while under heavy load.